So I'm just sat here looking at the date, thinking about how much we have to do, how little amount of time we have to do it in, and now the fact that I am unemployed. What the f... So a quick note to those wanting to paint around the trims or anything like that, where these rubber seals are. I would recommend not masking them off. As Emily painfully found out on our behalf, is if you use masking tape, and you can do this, which is to rip entirely through the rubber seal when you're taking the tape off. So I would recommend either not taping them off or getting some really delicate painter's tape. I know 3M do some specifically, but yeah, I've had to replace this. And as is any manufactured part from Mercedes, it cost an absolute fortune. So just to replace this seal was 55 quid. So I fully recommend finding another way of painting around those, or just remove them, because they come off really super easily, I've just found, and they go back on really super easily. So yeah, I'd recommend not taping them off. Lesson learnt.
Look at the effect of education on a man and a woman's mind.
And for those wanting to know what the part number is, for the left hand side, so what near side in the UK, A907 782 0000. A huge great bag. You probably won't recognise me wearing semi-respectable clothing. Today was a special day. The 1st of March 2023. Today was my last day of work. 30 days ago today, Emily and I handed in our resignations to our employer. We did that because we have decided that rather than having the van as a weekend traveller, we would actually move out of our house, quit our jobs, and travel Europe for an entire year. So I've just been staring at today's date, and the realisation has just come over me that we have exactly 70 days until we get on a boat and go to Europe in this van. There is so much to do. About a quarter completed van. I'm looking around at how much we have to do, how little time we have to do it in, and the fact that I am now unemployed. What the f was I thinking? But I am so excited to be getting going. Well, I suppose the first thing we need to do is to actually introduce ourselves. I'm Max, and that's Emily. And we have recently made the decision to give up our jobs and go travelling in Europe for a year, which is why I'm looking down, because I'm just seeking inspiration from this European map.
Who are you? You. No, not me, you. Yes, I am you.
So me and Max have been together for 8 years, something like that.
Yeah.
We've been married for nearly 2 years. We had a COVID wedding, and then we decided to work for the same company together, and then both work from home with each other. So we decided that wasn't enough pressure. So what we would do is build a van and move into it together.
Yeah.
Just to test the relationship just a little bit more. So this next year will either be a great chapter in our relationship or be the end of the relationship.
That is true, and that is why I think we have a lot of mod cons in our van, because otherwise we'd probably end up getting divorced on day 2.
Yeah, a dishwasher was seriously considered.
Yeah. One of the things that we had to get when moving into a house together, when moving into a rented flat together, was a washing machine, because we would have strangled each other.
So this could be a really short series.
Could be a really short series. It could be how to leave your van in another country and file for divorce from abroad.
Or it's series 3 or 4 of How to Get Away with Murder.
True. Very true.
We are in, well, you're 30, I am 28. We have both been working since I left university. Max has been working since he was straight out of school. and we had the opportunity to stop and go travelling. You know, you've seen part of the journey of us already starting to build the van. Hopefully you'll see us finish the van, and then we'll tell you a little bit about what our plans are. So I've got to give 3 months notice for my job. Max had to give a month's notice, and in January just nothing was going to plan.
No.
We had issues with our own house, we had a leaking van that we couldn't fix, we had some other personal things that were going on at the time. And just nothing was going right.
Well, it was all or nothing. It was. The choice was, we're in a real turning place here. Is do we delay?
Stop.
Yeah. Do we stop and delay, almost not indefinitely, but do we delay by quite a significant amount of time? So like another year or something like that. Do we delay by a lot of time and get our house sorted? Get, you know, our other personal circumstances sorted. Get our, you know, work in order and all that sort of stuff. Or do we just throw all in and go, right, let's quit our jobs early, in the meantime save up every penny that we can to be able to support us in the time off, and then drive for that target of when we want to leave? And
it was really quite stressful, like that week running up to that Friday. It was raining non-stop, which meant the van build was not moving on, and the leak was like actually damaging the van. We made the decision on the Friday that on the Monday I was going to go in and I was going to hand my resignation in then. And it genuinely was like a big weight lift off my shoulders, because I was like, I love my job, but it was like we're fully committed to this now, there's no going back. And to be honest, that kind of helped us move through that. Max has finished early. You got about like 2 and a bit months of solidly working on the van, and then I've got 5 weeks of solidly working on the van and packing up the house and putting everything in storage. So there's a lot going on. Part of the reason we already booked the ferry is because we do have commitments out in Europe. I'm meeting up with some friends out in Spain, and so we kind of counted back from when that commitment was to when we were going to get the ferry out there. I did book a fully flexible ticket just in case.
Yeah.
On to our plan.
The actual plan, giving the game away a little bit, is that most people generally get on the Eurotunnel or the Euroshuttle and go to France. However, there are 2 ferries that you can get. You can either go east or you can go west, and we are going west. So we are going from Plymouth, getting the ferry over to Spain. So we're going to end up in France, but we're starting from Spain. So
we probably should go through our route. First thing to cover is that we are very well aware of the Schengen visa, the 90, 180 day limits that we have. We have figured out our route with this in mind.
Yeah.
And if I'm honest, it was at the beginning a pain to think about. However, it's made us go to some of those countries that we necessarily wouldn't have first thought about. Since watching many of the YouTubers that we enjoy watching, those countries just look really beautiful, and I'm actually really excited to go to them. Yeah,
they're kind of like hidden gems that, like I said, I personally wouldn't have considered at all. Potentially because of Schengen rules, people exploring it more, these hidden gems have come out into the open a lot more.
So as we said, we are planning on going from Plymouth all the way down to Santander. We're then going to make our way over to Portugal and hopefully go to places like Porto and Lisbon, and then down to the south of Spain. We've heard very good things about Seville, Cordoba. I then am meeting my friends in Marbella for a couple of days. Then we'll make our way up the east of Spain into Andorra. So Andorra isn't part of the Schengen. And so the first 5 weeks we're looking at Portugal and Spain, and then going into Andorra and almost like stopping that Schengen clock, and we'll probably spend a week there regathering ourselves, trying to work out how we found the last 5 weeks, and also see Andorra. Apparently it's great for walking.
Yeah, and it's a happy coincidence that Andorra is a Schengen haven, because I really wanted to go to Andorra. It's always like fascinated me, such a tiny little country in amongst two massive countries. It's just a bizarre place to my head, and I really want to see it. Apparently really beautiful, so regardless of whether it was Schengen free or not, I'd still want to go there.
We're then going to go through the south of France, hopefully go to around Lyon and Lake Annecy, We're then going to have a very expensive couple of days going through Switzerland.
Yeah.
Max really wanted to go around the Swiss lakes, as do I. But
in fact, you can see the lake that I want to go around just there. I want to go around that lake
you
right
definitely
there.
won't see it from there.
No, you won't. But there's a really great part of that lake where the southmost coast of that lake is owned by, I can't remember whether it's Germany or Italy. It's a tiny little area of that lake that's owned by another country, and you can literally travel through that entire country in the matter of like 4 minutes. So yeah, it's really beautiful around there.
And then we have a couple of weeks in Italy. We're not planning on going to much of Italy. We then got to get through Slovenia and Croatia. We'll be running out of our 90 days by that point. It's a massive shame for us that Croatia has entered the Schengen.
Yeah.
We planned to spend a lot of time there. It was in January. It was meant to be a lot later in the year, and they brought it up to January. Yeah. So unfortunately, we won't get to see as much of those countries as we wanted to. We'll then get out of the Schengen. So we are looking at going to Bosnia and Serbia and Albania, spending the 3 months, 90 days, going through those countries and getting down to Greece. We got married in Greece. We also got engaged in Greece. So Greece is just a stunning country for us. It's got such great memories. So we're hoping to see a different side of it this time. We're hoping to go up in the mountains.
We've spent a lot of time around, you more than me, but we've spent a lot of time around the Ionian and like the islands of Greece, whereas we haven't spent any time at all on mainland Greece. So it would be good to see that side, the easternmost side of Greece, which would be, you know, it's completely different geography. So it would be good to see what else Greece has to offer, to be honest.
And then it will be the long trip into Turkey. And again, Turkey was never really on our front plans. We will obviously have to be a lot more cautious after the earthquakes that have happened. We will have to keep very up to date with. Turkey's a massive country. There's obviously a lot more of the country to see, but we will obviously be very aware of that. So we're hoping to spend about 2 months in Turkey, then come back up through Bulgaria and Romania to reset our Schengen visa, and then unfortunately it goes through so quickly. But then unfortunately it'll be the kind of the 3 months home. So hoping to go up through Hungary, Austria, Germany, and then Belgium, and then back onto the Eurotunnel, which I've never been on.
I think it's worth mentioning that we want to go, our sort of aim, Turkey is our kind of halfway point. Our target is to reach Turkey for Christmas and New Year's in Cappadocia, be on top of a mountain, hopefully in snow, not too deep of snow, but snow, watching the balloons at Christmas or
ticking off that van life YouTube.
That van life YouTube thumbnail. That thumbnail. I can see the thumbnail already. But I genuinely enjoy photography. I genuinely enjoy video editing. It's just I never have content to video edit. So I constantly make these videos about nothingness, and they never go anywhere. I never publish them or anything like that, but I enjoy the process of video making. So to be able to travel pretty much the entirety of Europe and see some stunning places and capture all of that content and share it with the people, you know, that I know, and people I don't know, but is, you know, great. The YouTube thing is just a kind of an aside.
So Max is mostly in charge of getting the van finished. Max is incredibly creative. He's really good at this sort of stuff. He's very good at being able to look at something in the van and be like, I want to create this, it's going to look like this. On the other hand, unfortunately for me, I can't see what Max explains. So Max will be like, oh, I want to do this and it's going to be amazing. And I'm like, unless I've got a picture, I can't see what you're saying. What it does mean is you end up having to trust each other a lot.
Yeah.
And again, even Max is like very meticulous. He wants to get it absolutely right. I am very aware that we've got a deadline.
Yeah, it's the compromise. Is that I would love to have everything exactly as I, you know, imagine it in my mind's eye. Is I have to compromise and, you know, reel back some of the fancy glittery ideas and just keep it a little bit more simplistic.
Max is very technical, where I'm not interested in that part. The bit that I've taken more of the steer on is all the admin. So we've got international drivers licenses, the amount of different insurance we have to have, both because we're renting out the house and because we're travelling, and then we've got the van insurance. So I'm a lot more the behind the scenes admin.
I think it would be fair to say that we would be able to travel in this country with what I do, but I would get to a port and they would shoo me away because I wouldn't have a clue as to what we're doing past the port. You've done all of that, and you've like organised everything, so you've done all of that, all that context, which I do need to which I do need to read up about, to be fair, because if something happens abroad, you need to know that stuff. So
we do own our house and we are planning on renting out our house, so we won't live here, we won't have a base to come back to for the year. So we have like two sides of the story really, is we have all the admin side of having to pack up our lives, put everything in storage, rent our house out, and then we're at the same time trying to build a van. And at the moment in time, we've got like half the ceiling up, our first covered up, and we've still got to pack the house.
Yeah, so I think the time frame has made us speed up a bit more, I think, to be honest, because previously when we didn't have a definitive date of leaving, we were kind of just plodding along going, oh well, if we aren't able to get anything done this weekend, then we've got next weekend or something like that. But the time frame in which we need to go is so small now, and it's not just like if we delay by a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, then we've got a house to live in, we can just get the next ferry. Is people are moving into the house that we live in, and we have to meet that time frame, otherwise we're gonna have to go and move into a hotel or move into somebody's parents' house. Yeah. We've already had a estate agent say, can you move out any sooner? So the time crunch is really happening. Yeah, and I think that's why we've been able to, number one, speed up, but number two, justify leaving our jobs. I think we both not necessarily missed an opportunity, because I don't necessarily regret the choices I made in life getting to where I am now, but we both missed out on an opportunity to travel like a lot of our friends did. So I know that when I was sort of early career, late education, a lot of people were going off to other countries. Some friends spent entire year in Australia, some
Thailand,
that sort of thing. So we never did that. We never did the backpacking. We never did the living abroad. So that's why we wanted to do it now.
It's a lot more complicated than I thought it'd be. It looks like anyone could just, that sounds terrible, it looks like anyone could just jump on a ferry and drive around Europe.
It seems like a big holiday. That's what it seems like. Yeah. Before you look into like when you just get on a flight and go, oh, I want to go for a 3-week, 4-week holiday, like it's just a holiday, and generally speaking there's no visas or insurances and things like that, extra insurances that you need to buy. You buy your travel insurance, but that's it. But and your things like your phone contracts, they last the entirety of your trip and all that sort of stuff. But the ins and outs of actually being able to operate for an entire year and live your life for an entire year abroad, even as close as home as Europe, is insanely complicated once you start looking into it.
Yeah, I think the second adage is the renting out the house bit. That's become a lot more complicated than I thought it would be. And I suppose that, we're funding the trip by renting out a house and a lot of personal savings. That's, how we've done it really. Yeah. So we aren't working for the whole year. That's the plan. Yeah. We did look at it. There's a lot of people out there who do work at the same time as travelling. And we did think about whether or not to do that. And honestly, like a lot of the people we spoke to, our friends and family, just basically said if you've got the opportunity to travel and not have to work, just do it and enjoy it. Like, you don't get that time back, and we're very lucky that we have the ability to.
And I think that is probably going to be I'm not really nervous about the trip. I'm not nervous about the build. What I am nervous about is not being employed for a year. Like, I've always been employed and I don't know how to not be employed, and my nervousness is routine. Something to consider if you're planning on going for a long period of time or giving up your job.
Take bets on whether or not we'll meet it.
And that's a wrap. See ya. What was that, sorry?
I'm over the gin and the crisps.
Well, this is Europe. And all of these places... Wait, well... All of these places hate us. So we're gonna...
Can't say that.
So we're gonna go to the very tip of it.
We're very aware of this shit. Very aware.
Very aware of the shit.
Yeah, the shit.
You're gonna see a lot of meat eating on this.
I think we can leave that bit out.